Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. It's a very chronologically anniversary. 1 year ago today, I posted the very first episode where we started in 1971 and began this crazy quest to play every single video game. Since then, we've had 230 episodes. Over 525 videos have been posted, and we played and showcased over 2,100 video games. Currently on YouTube, we have 818 subscribers, 95 followers on Twitch, and over 11,000 hours watched. Thank you so much to everyone here for the live show, and thank you all the fans, everyone that's been supportive of the show and the channel. I am so thankful. A big shout out to our two current patrons on Patreon, Tabris and Marcus, and for all the guests that have appeared on the show, thank you so much for coming on. I also want to give a shout out to all the people that have contributed and helped things behind the scenes, so thank you Curtis, thank you Logan, thank you Victor, thank you Paul, and thank you Chris. Tonight's going to go a little different. Back whenever I started the show, I was off to a rocky start, doing something that's never done before, and having to work out how to play all these games or make them all work correctly, so there was a few snags we hit. When we did episode 5, I started the launch of the Atari VCS. The next episode for episode 6, I forgot to push record on episode 6, so all the other Atari VCS launch titles were lost. So I decided I have to do something because it's Atari. The next day, I said I'll do the whole episode all over again from the beginning. But the next day, I forgot to hit record again. So then I said, let's try it again. I'll do the whole episode all over again. And on the third day, I recorded the episode, but I forgot to unmute the microphone. So the entire episode was in mute, so I had to scrap the whole thing, and I just decided that episode 6, is going to be lost. It's going to be gone, and there's no way to bring it back until now. We're going to go back to 1977 and re-record episode 6. So this is for all you. Welcome to 1977. We just played Air-Sea Battle for the Atari VCS. Let's see what our next game is. The next game is Basic Math. Oh man, Basic Math's an easy one to go through because we don't do any early childhood or games that include this, which is essentially Basic Math. That's all you're going to do in the game. We're going to be re-rating everything too, but Basic Math, I'm still going to give a big fat 0. There's plenty of other games you could have been playing in 1977 that are better than this. So there you go. There's Basic Math. We're done. Let's see what's next. Next we have Blackjack. On the Atari 2600, let's take a look at Blackjack, starting with the box. This one has some fantastic artwork on the front. It is essentially just Blackjack, but you can tell they spent some time for the artwork, as usual, by Atari. And you flip it over in the back. This one's played with paddle controls, 1 or 2 players, if you want to. I don't believe... Nah, we won't be showing that one because we're going to go through this one pretty quick. Let's pop in and play some Blackjack by Bob Whitehead, published by Atari. It's September 11th, 1977. And how do you play this one? Well, it's Blackjack. There's not too much more we can say about it. Let's see what we get. Oh, what do we want for our bet? Let's make that one our bet. We get a Jack and a 19. Oh, yeah, let's stay on that. Come on. Yes, and we won! So there you go, a very okay game to play for Blackjack. Last time we gave it a 0-star rating. If it was 1977 and you played Blackjack this well with paddle controls, it's actually pretty cool. So I'm not going to give it a 0-star. We're going to go ahead and give that one 3 stars, perfectly average for 1977. Yeah, Bob Whitehead does sound familiar, right? I know I've heard that name before. All right, let's see what our next game is. Queuing off every single video game, playing every video game that's ever been released, and we're currently playing the launch titles of the Atari VCS. This is Chase, the one game that is strictly published by Sears. Most of the games that were by Atari, you had a version that was for Atari and a version that was for Sears, but Chase is on its own. Let's take a look at the box for Chase. This one has 14 games inside. What is this game, though? Judging by the front of the box, I can't tell. We're jousting. We have a wagon train corralled, and we have warriors from the Orient, I believe there. Can't understand what that one is. On the back, though, they cut right to the chase. You don't have to open the manual. All the game variations are right there. Play some Barricade, play some Chase, or play some TV Graffiti. And let's pop in and play Chase. Developed by Atari, published by Sears in 1977. Oh, that's right. He should sound familiar. All right, so checking through the game variations, you can see I'm switching them out. 1, 2, or 3. It's the 3 different game modes. Let's go and play some chase. So hitting reset, and we're in. Oh my gosh, I know what it is. Chase is tag. I'm playing right now as the 1 player, and then let's see, that's the 2nd player as the black. I have both joysticks plugged in, but what are we playing, tag? Oh, okay, first person to get to the, I see. So I'm using both joysticks at the same time. It's not tag, or like gotcha that we saw in the arcades. This one is like we're playing a first person to get to the flag or the red pixel. It's a race against blue and black. Who can get there first? Well, that's one of the game variations. Let's see the other ones. We got game 2. Let's go ahead and play that one. Oh, this one is... Oh, okay, they just switch it up. It's the same game. There's just 2 markers now. You have 2 red markers rather than just 1. I got it. I can understand why this was only for Sears. Let's check out the last game variation. Game number 3 is... Oh, it's the same thing, but they just speed it up. My character is able to move faster, if you want to call it a character. My pixel moved faster than the other ones. Oh, that's a good point. Since Sears is... That's pretty sad, actually, when you think about it being no more. But, yeah, clothing stores and video games, they were a thing. Now they don't exist. So there you go. That is Chase. Last time we didn't even give this one a rating. I still would say Chase is very rudimentary if you think of the other games we could be playing. It is kind of similar to something on the RCA Studio 2. So I'm going to say still around the average range, not doing anything particularly well or good in 1977, but 3 stars puts it right down smack in the middle. All right, let's keep going. Our next game is the phenomenal Combat. When people think of the Atari VCS, this is what they think of. Combat is the game to sell as many systems as you can right now in 1977. Look at the front of the box. Combat has some fantastic artwork. It even is flying out of the box. The smoke on the outside. Wow. I can't even do it justice. It's just a work of art. And let's flip it over on the back. We have nothing. Atari gives us nothing. We do have the manual for Combat, though. Combat. We did have manuals for the other games, including basic math, but wasn't going to flip through those manuals. So you can see they have controller action of what you're going to do in the game. This one is a game that has lots of different game variations. We have the airplane mode, jets, and tanks. It shows you all the controls that you're going to be moving around over on the left side, because this one would be more complicated, at least because of the different game modes than other systems. But at this time, we had the Fairchild Channel F out there. That joystick was really complicated, or hand controller is what they called it. So it would be easier to hold the one button, one joystick Atari, but still really difficult. All right, so over here on the lower right side, you can use the difficulty switches to switch between jet fighter games and position. That just means they'll be flying slower. It breaks down the different playfields of the tank games with all the different... Oh, look at that. How many different options can we play on with the game numbers? Then we have Tank Pong, which allows you to bounce off the walls and barriers. Loved that one. So much fun. Then we have the Invisible Tank game where you and your opponent are invisible. And whenever you fire a shot, then it shows your tank for just a split second. Then we have Invisible Tank Pong. Then we have the biplane games. See, this is a full package. This is one of the games that first introduces, we need more game variations to sell these games for the home. And it's also one of the big reasons why most of the home consoles after Combat or after Atari comes out, they all have game variations. You got to have multiple ones. Look at this, biplane games, jet fighter games, and then the grid, the classic grid telling you all the different switches. 27 different games on this one. In 1977, you say it has 27 games in there. Nowadays, we just call it variations. Obviously, it's very popular. We also have the 32-in-1 PAL version. In Europe, they had this one. They had a hack called Combat AI, Combat Tank AI, another one called Titans, and then a different version, which was a beta version. Let's pop in and play the first version of Combat by Larry Wagner, published by Atari in the launch of 1977. Oh, yes. And check it out. I love flipping through because it switches up the top-down modes. Game 4, Game 5, and then whether you want to bounce off the walls or not with your tank. And then the invisible walls. Oh, and then invisible tanks. And then all the variations with invisible. And then you go into the biplane mode. Really love how the plane flies behind the cloud. giving you that slightly stealth or feeling like you're playing a stealth game. Then 1920. Oh, another thing too is it's this scaling, making them larger is awesome. All right, so this is another title that you have to have a player to play on. But here, this is, if you had 2 people plugged in, I'm going to move with myself with the red tank. Oh, yes. And if you got player 2 controls the second tank. I don't think I should give this game any introduction at all. Everyone that's even heard of an Atari has heard of Combat. This is the game that was telling people you need to get an Atari and play an Atari. The multiple game modes. It is classic. It is essential. And while you would say Space Invaders is the killer app that we haven't seen yet, Combat is still one of the games that was doing the best for Atari right now. Atari originally made the game Tank in the arcades, and here it is just bringing it home. Yeah, we need games with variations. Why don't they have ways you can switch up the game? The only thing I can think of is games that allow you to change or edit the level, or have a map or level editor or creator. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, this one did come bundled with the VCS. A lot of the titles we're seeing came bundled with the system when it came out. It depends on what region you were in, or a part of the United States as well. All right. So again, I want to go to the other ones. Let's switch out to the biplanes. I want to see the biplane stretched out. Where are you? There you are. So one person gets to play as 3 planes at once. You can see I'm controlling the 3 planes that are green, and then the other plane, one person gets to control the giant one. Such a cool idea. Look at that. You even shoot a giant shot with the orange plane. So much fun. And it's one-on-one competitive play. Then we move on to the jet mode. Kind of same as before, and you can adjust with the difficulty switches how fast you want the jets to go. But this one is a blast to play. Even still today, this is bundled with all those cheap Atari standalone consoles that you can plug in with an HDMI cable to your television, and Combat comes with it. Oh yes. So much fun. This is one of the best games you can play on a home console, bar none. We gave it 4.5 stars then, and it's still 4.5 stars now. Combat is the one, and there's one other that is the one that we're going to see soon. All right, let's see our next game. Also on the launch of the Atari VCS is Indy 500. Taking from the Sprint games that have been in the arcade, let's take a look at the box for Indy 500. This one boasts 14 games. Almost every one of these launch titles has artwork on the front that is just blow away amazing. It obviously isn't telling you how many pixels it has or telling you exactly what the game looks like. All I know is I'm going to play a game where I'm driving an Indy car. And flip it over the back, really simple, showing you all the different game modes. Ice Race, I remember the Ice Race. And paddle controls as well. This one, we do have the manual for Indy 500. Use the paddle controls to control the action. How do you score the game? What the difficulty switches do? And then the race car. Whether you compete against the clock or another player, your race car tackles the curves of some dangerous tracks. Something else I enjoy is Atari's not putting any lore or story in these manuals. It's just telling you, here's what the game is, now go pop it in and play. The way it should be. This is back when Nolan Bushnell was in charge of Atari. We have the Grand Prix track and Grand Prix track time for game 1 and 2. Examples of the screenshot 2. The Devil's Elbow track. And then the time trial just means you're going to play it by yourself. Then we have the crash and score player. You get points by crashing the car. That's a lot of fun. Like Destruction Derby kind of thing. Oh, yes, and different colored boxes. We haven't seen those very lately, right? Yeah, I had the Wood Grain 2600. I wasn't even familiar with the Sears version. I just saw in the chat, because the Wood Grain, I thought that's all it was. The way you should be playing the Atari. Not the later releases. And everyone knows that, too. Even the re-releases of Atari have the Wood Grain. That's the way it's supposed to be. You can also play tag with your cars. That's a pretty fun mode you can play on. Look at all these game variations. And then the ice race. So much fun. Slipping, sliding, and drifting with your car. This one has just some alternate versions, and the version that was also in Europe. Let's pop in and play Indy 500 by Ed Riddle and Carla Meninsky of Atari, one of the launch titles of the Atari VCS. So we can start with the first game mode. I'm going to hold down my red button and go. Indy 500 is the top-down view similar to Sprint in the arcade. At this time, if you were familiar with Sprint in the arcade, this is like playing it at home. Plays just as well. I should have done time trial because I'm playing by myself. Oh, really? You do? I hope they do too. Alright, so this one I'm going to switch it out because I want to see... There we go. So you can also do the time trial. This is the way to play if you're solo, but you can see two people can play at once, and that adds a lot to the fun. And when you crash into the cars, the walls, you feel it. It feels so bad, but whenever you're moving and getting in a groove and not hitting the walls, is a really fun racing game. Oh yeah. Oh wow, yep, multiples of the Dreamcast. I know they had special ones. You're speaking again of the future. It is 1977. All right, let's break down and go through the other tracks. There's the two-player track and then the time trial of the other track. And then we go on to the Destruction Derby or the Crash variants. Oh, so much fun. It's like a battle mode on your Atari. And then the ice rink. I got to play this one. Check out the drift. Here we go. Wait for it. So much fun. If you get the turns right. Oh. Adding that another level of physics. Also, you're using the red button on your Atari, and it feels a while to get used to that letting off and pushing the button as if it's an accelerator. So you let it off for a little bit, then pop it right back in. But look at that. It's so much fun. There is no other driving game that's doing this anywhere in 1977. That's what probably makes it so much fun. Slip sliding around and learning how and when to push on and off the red button. Yep, still got it. I need someone to race me on this one. That's pretty fun. The Smokey Joe sit-down machine time traveler. Thanks for joining us. Alright, so there you go. That's Indy 500. Of all the games you can play on a home console, this one is a 4-star game, just like we had rated last time. 4 stars for Indy 500. And with that, let's press forward and play some more launch titles on our Atari VCS. Here is Outer Space, the Sears telegame release. We're going to be seeing both the Sears and the Atari release. So if you're familiar with the different title, I'll understand. So Outer Space, the box looks pretty simple. Sears didn't do it justice or had the same artwork that Atari did. I got to give Atari the nod. Sears went a cheaper route. But right on the back, Sears puts your grid showing your game modes right there. I like when they put those on the cartridge, like they did on the Odyssey 2. All right, so let's pop in and play Outer Space, published by Sears, developed by Atari in 1977. So this one has lots of different game modes. It is a space combat game from a first-person perspective. We are in the cockpit of the ship. As we switch out the game modes, it's adding different elements. What are we shooting down? We really don't have objectives. It's the speed and how many different things are coming at us. All right, so let's go. This one uses the second play. Yeah, second. But you're flying through space. What is that? The Enterprise? Quick, get in. Well, they got us. Avoiding the asteroids and shooting down the enemies. Very cool sound effects. And the controls are reversed on your VCS joystick. You're moving up and down backwards as if you were flying in the ship. Right there, what you see is what you get. Playing a space combat game. It is not the first. We've seen some home computers do that, specifically the Commodore PET. They didn't look as cool. I'd say that's really nice with the Starfield flying at you. And this is 2 years before we saw anything close to Space Raiders. Oh yeah. Oh, the Spider-Man game. We're going to be seeing that one later when we go back to the future. All right, so that was Outer Space. It is still a subpar game considering the other ones you can play on home console. I'm still sticking with 2.5 stars for Outer Space. And let's see our next game. Here we go, Speedway II. It's the Sears telegame release. Whoa, that guy is flipping out because he won the McDonald's grand prize. Speedway II is Indy 500 by Sears. Let's take a look at the box. Yeah, Indy 500 has them beat. And what is this? Bikes and skiing and cars? They're mixing it all up. Oh, yeah, see, it's got kamikaze, road race, slalom, scoop ball, number cruncher, and rollerball. 27 games. So cool with the game variations. Yeah, not even, I wouldn't see if it's even close to Star Raiders with the amount of functionality it has. It's way before that, but it's just moving around in the first-person view. All right, let's pop in and play some Speedway II. Published by Sears, made by Atari. One of the launch titles you would have played on your Atari VCS. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the first game mode. So I'm over on the right side of the screen as the orange car. Whoever's playing as the other player will control the purple car, but you're essentially going as fast as you can and not crashing. Whoever crashes, the other person gets the points. So it's the illusion that you're racing. Yeah, I don't give it the same draw. So I made a mistake. This is the Indy 500. This is Stunt Racer that Atari did. This is the Sears version of Stunt Racer. Yeah, we'll check that one out whenever we're not doing the Sears game. I want to see the Atari one, the real one. All right, let's see what our next game is. Here we go. The next game is Starship on our Atari VCS. Starting with the box, Starship is really reminiscent to Asteroids. Look at that. The space shooter we never or haven't seen yet on the home console. That's terrible. I hope you can see some of the games. I do give the warning that if you have any issues with sensitive to lights or flashing lights, you probably shouldn't watch the channel because most of these games are going to flash a lot. This one boasts 17 game variations, and then on the back of the box, we have the grid of all the game modes. So cool. All right, Starship. Get your Atari VCS controller. Use the difficulty switches if you want to. You're sitting on the Starship cockpit. Your television screen is suddenly transformed to the window of your Starship. With the joystick controller, steer the ship deep into space. A constant barrage of meteors whiz toward your window. Eerie enemy space objects float from the darkest parts of space. There it is. The joystick controls are backwards, so when you go up on the joystick, it actually dives down. And when you want to climb, you pull back on the joystick like you're flying. And we have the Starship Enterprise, known as the Starfighter here, the Flying Saucer, and the Space Robot. We just saw the Sears version of this. This is the real, in my opinion, version of the Atari version. The movement of the joystick affects how you travel through space. Yeah, it's a first-person space combat game. So much fun to play. You're alone in these space games. Your television screen becomes the spaceship window as you guide your ship deep into space with the right joystick. That is true. You're using the other joystick. You're not using the left joystick. It's the right one. So make sure you move the joystick over to the correct side and then zap them out. It gives you missions to destroy slow-moving enemy objects or slow-moving enemy objects in different ships or two at a time. So the different game variations just are changing up what you're destroying. And then it breaks down the Starship Commander can score in this game. You can have both players turn to be a commander of the Starship. It lasts 4 minutes, 32 seconds. Your mission as Starship Commander, destroy the enemy space objects and space module you can see through your space window. They haven't said anything about first-person perspective. I don't think they used that term in 1977. They keep saying through your window you can see everything. You're sitting in your cockpit watching space whiz by. With the joystick still, you see your ship past the indestructible asteroids. Your mission is cover as much distance as possible. So we're going through game 10, game 11, and then Lunar Lander. Wait, is it? Is it really? Are we going to land on the moon? Oh, cool. We do have a Lunar Lander variant. Yes, it'll reappear on the opposite sides. So cool. And we're still going. We have the one-player games and then the two-player games. You control the Lunar Lander with the right joystick, and the second player, after the first half of the game, lands the... so is it switching out one at a time? It's not simultaneous play? Darn, that was almost exciting. A two-player Lunar Lander variant. And look at all these game modes. We got to tilt our head to the side to see for the manual. All right, for Starship, let's pop in and play by Bob Whitehead by Atari, one of the launch titles of the Atari VCS. Yes, so Bob did this one too. All right, let's go right to the first. I want to see the other one. Since we already saw the Sears version, let's switch it out to game version 4. Is this still... Yeah, it's the other joystick. Oh, yeah, they're coming fast. I don't think I've been trained for this. There you go. Get him, quick. Yeah, you gotta be really fast or dodge. Move down. Oh, they got me. Yeah, look how quick. You gotta be right on the draw. The movement, though, whenever you want to... When you're sliding around with your ship, the cursor moves very, very slow than what you think. I am on the faster game mode, but you don't have as much accuracy as you'd think. It's giving you the illusion that you're flying through space. Gosh, yeah, that's really fast. All right, let's switch it out. Go to game modes 5 or 6 as Starship Commander. Let's give that a shot. Get him. The rescue mission. And then what is it if we do the lunar lander ones? 11. There we go. I'm scared to see what's going to happen. Oh, okay, it's really not lunar lander. You're moving the ship around freely, so there's no longer a first-person perspective. But whenever you get close to the rock, all you do is you just push the button to fire the retro rockets, and that's the landing. So the controls are absolute. I'm just going up, down, left, and right. They're really easy controls, but you're just trying to get over there. If you play a two-player game, does that mean we fight for whoever gets there first? Let me see. No, it's still alternate play. Yeah, that's all it is. So it is not a lunar lander variant. I was all excited. It is not. Yeah, for the 70s, though, I gotta admit, this is some of the best high-quality games you could play on a home console. So much fun. So there you go. That is Starship. Of all the games you can play at this time, it's all right. I'm actually going to bump this up from a 2.5-star rating to a 3-star rating. Starship is a fun, fun time. All right, so after Starship, let's see our next game. All right, time to play some Street Racer, one of the other launch titles for the Atari VCS. Let's take a look at the box. There we go. Mixing in motorcycles. Cars from the 50s. Some classic cars. Very nice. As always, Atari's got the artwork. And flip it over the back, you got 27 different games. Street Racer, Slalom, Dodge'em, Jet Shooter, Number Cruncher, and Scoop Ball all here. So cool. Let's take a look at the manual for Street Racer. The Indy 500. The drifting of the cars, though, was pretty cool. That was one of the best ones. Oh, that's right. Shoot enemies to score points. The local TV channel will scream fire. Oh, that is, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about. I think we actually had a video of it whenever if you look back in the older videos, I think we have a video playing on the side of it. Use the paddle controls. This is the one we played just earlier on Sears, the Sears release. Here is the Atari release of Street Racer. Difficulty switches, TV switch type. It only goes from black and white to color. Avoid collisions and score points. 1, 2, or 3, or 4 players because you can daisy chain the paddle controls. In 3 and 4 player games, 2 players share one track. Each player tests their skill against the controller to steer their car around the oncoming cars, heading straight to you. Press the red button to increase your speed. You get a point for every car you pass. Your car is color coordinated with your score, which appears at the top of the playfield. Each game is completed after 2 minutes and 16 seconds, or when a player or team scores 99 points. Your score will flash on and off the scoreboard during the final 16 seconds of game time. You'll hear the hum of motors, crashes, and beeps when you score. So game 1 is the one we played on the Sears version. Game 2 is 2 players steer a car on opposite moving tracks, avoiding collisions with the computer cars. Game 3 is 3 players controlling one car, avoiding collisions with the computer cars. So we got games 4, 5, and 6. And then Slalom, which is essentially skis, yes. But it's the same idea. The screen split in 2 parts, but it's moving left and right. Game 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are there. And then we got Dodge'em. Not the Dodge'em you think. The Dodge'em that came out before Dodge'em. Sharpening your reflex skills. You got to play there. And then we got the Jet Shooter. You're in a fighter pilot in this game. Then we have Number Cruncher. You got an appetite for numbers? 1, 2, 3, and 4 players each control one motorcycle that crunches numbers on their track. How rad is that? then we have Scoop Ball. Your object is catch the balls and then deposit them into a computer scooper. Catch the balls, you have a giant moving scooper. 2, 3, or 4 players control. Any of these games that have paddle controls, you can have up to 4 people. Such a cool idea. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the art for all these launch titles is another big selling point. All right, for Street Racer, it was available in Europe as well. Let's pop in and play Street Racer by Larry Kaplan, published by Atari, one of the launch titles in 1977. All right, so like we saw before, this is the first game mode. If we switch it up and play one of the other game modes, it's going to look, I think we can get 4 on here. There we go, yeah. So if you play the 3, yeah, there we go, 3 or 4 player mode, all 4 people show up on the screen. I don't have 4 paddle controls plugged in, but you're both sharing the side. So it's a 4 player at the same time game. So cool. And if you go to game mode 5, it's still the same one. Let's give this one a shot. I'm only on the right side as the orange car. Purple car is on the left side. And I can hold down the red button and go fast. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I didn't crash. Yeah, there we go. You're essentially trying to play it as a stunt driver. So I'm holding down the red button going extremely fast until I crash. All right, let's switch it up again. Game mode 6 increases the fun. Now we go on to the skiing one. I love this one. Whenever we start off, I'll be on the right side again. This one allows you to pass through barriers as the skier. You can ignore the left side. They're going to crash every single time because it has to be controlled by a person. Can we go faster? Yeah, let's speed it up. And crash. Nice and easy. And you got that fine-tuned paddle control. This was my favorite one of it, because after you're holding on the red button and going faster and faster, when you get your skier to fit through the hole, it feels really satisfying. And for 1977, this would be pretty fast. Well, the original launch of the Atari was September 11th, 1977, arguably. And these launch titles, I'm just playing everything that was available then. Not every one of these games was available right on that day. But since they were so close to the launch of Atari, I'm putting them all together and we're playing them all then. All right, so here we go. Let's ramp up the difficulty. Check it out. Playing 4 people at the same time with the ski variant. So cool. And then we go on to the next one. This one is the Dodge. Oh, interesting. Is that car playing? Can we play a one-player game? Let's see. Oh, no, it is still the same. You have to have someone that can control it. So on the right side is the blue car. The left side is nobody. My paddle control has no one's plugged into that side. So this one, the screen doesn't scroll when you hold down the red button. Your car moves up to the top. Or motorcycle. I can't remember what the manual said. All right, now let's go to the other game variations. We also have... There we go. This is the one. You actually have a shooting mechanic now as we fly forward. It is currently 1977. Space Invaders does not exist. So starting at the bottom of the screen and shooting up like this is pretty cool. And fresh. All right, let's go to the next one, switching up the colors. And then we got the number cruncher. Now I want to go to the... There we go, the catch... Let's catch them. Good, and then avoid those. Yeah, so you'll crash into those. You have to know which ones to catch and which ones to avoid. There we go, catch it. And avoid, or otherwise you're going to crash. I'm still only on the right side, but they're switching up the gameplay, making it backwards. Here we go, catch it. Got it. Catch another one. Lots of game variations, lots of fun for the time. We last gave Street Racer 2 stars. No way, this isn't bad. Street Racer is, because of all the game variations, a really fun time. I'm going to go 3.5 stars of all the games you could play on a home console. They almost do look like kanji, Victor. That's a pretty fun way to say it. So that means Street Racer and... Was it Speedway? Speedway II was the other one? Slalom, skier, auto racing. Yeah, it was this one. So this is the same one. We'll do 3.5 stars for Speedway 2 as well, whether you're on Sears or Atari. All right, our next title is Surround for the Atari VCS. Now, this one I wasn't familiar with, but if you played most of the games in the arcades, you would be familiar with this one. Let's take a look at the artwork for Surround. What are we playing? Based on the artwork, I can't tell. Are we air traffic controllers? We have both Surround and Video Graffiti here. 14 different games to play. Plug in that Atari VCS joystick. Does the manual tell us what it is? What is Surround? Welcome to the exciting and competitive world of Surround. Your basic objective is to surround your opponent, causing them to run out of space in which to move, and at the same time not running into anything yourself. You can set up a blockade, force him into a corner, or wander off by yourself and hope that he runs into something on his own. That's right. Surround is Snake variant, Light Cycle variant, one of those. Oh, is this the one that has the... Oh, okay, so this also has the one you can do diagonal movements, I think. Nice. Let's pop it and play Surround by Alan Miller, published by Atari, one of the launch titles of Atari VCS. All right, so we're going to start in the first game mode. Ready and go. I'm playing simultaneously as blue and green. Yeah, what you're seeing here is a light cycle variant way before Tron even did the light cycle. I don't know how they got popular with that before all this. But this isn't the first time. We've also seen these kind of games in the arcades with Bigfoot Bonkers and a barricade and things like that. Yeah, but for a two-player game, for you to play this, lots of fun. Let's switch out the game modes. Game mode 2, 3, I think it's only, because we're using the joystick, it's only a two-player game. So you can't daisy chain the controllers. Wow, how many game... Oh, very fun. Okay, so this one, in this game mode, you can draw and stop where you're going. Does this mean if you crash, it's your own fault? No. Okay, yeah, we're just drawing. We're just etch-a-sketching. So 1 and 2 player can do etch-a-sketch. Nice. I like it. Let's keep going. We got 5, 7. Any different? Oh, this one's just a little bit faster. Yep, and it's increasing the speed. Nice touch. Wow, yeah. Most people call it Snake. I call it Light Cycle because it's always constantly growing. You don't have to do anything to make it longer. All right, so Surround. We gave this one 2.5 stars. I'm going to bump it up. It's an average game for a home console. 3 stars for Surround. Let's keep going playing all the games on the Atari, including our next release. This is Tank Plus for the Atari VCS. Tank Plus is the Sears telegame release of Combat. So if you remember Combat, it's pretty much the same game. Let's take a look at the box for Tank Plus. No. Atari's got it right. They are showcasing the jet, the biplane, and the tank on the front, but Atari got a really cool front of the box, much better than this one. They're still trying to do the same thing Atari's doing, which is not telling you really what the game is. Flip it over in the back, and Sears gives us all the game modes, 27, just like in Combat. Let's pop it and play Tank Plus. Made by Atari, published by Sears. It's September 11th, 1977. Oh, the bestseller was Space Invaders, at least last time I checked. I don't know what it is in the last 5 years. I haven't checked since then. All right, let's switch it out to a game mode we haven't done yet. I want to get some Ricochet on. Yes! That was all luck. It almost feels like we're playing pool. And at the time, there's another console that's doing this, like the Fairchild and the RCA Studio 2, but they don't play this well. This is the standard of what consoles are like right now. When you play any other tank game on those consoles, they can't even live up to how close and how good this is. Our own shots don't hurt us. That's fantastic. The other thing to consider is there's no artificial intelligence. You have to play with people. So if you're by yourself, you're a lonely person, and you have nobody to play these games with, you're not going to get as much enjoyment out of them, because a lot of them, the real joy is playing with other people. Couch co-op all over. That's right. Fairchild is the first one with the cartridge concept. We have to thank them. All right, so there we go. That's Tank Plus, or Combat, if you like Sears instead of Atari. Let's see what our next game is. Here's Target Fun for the Atari 2600. Now, Target Fun is essentially the air-sea battle that Atari did for Sears. That's all this is. And so like the other titles, they're changing up the artwork because Sears has to. They didn't know Atari was going to get as popular as they were. Flip it over on the back. We have the usual game modes, 27, just like air-sea battle. And just like air-sea battle, it is awesome. I'm going to go 4.5 stars. We don't even have to boot this one up. For Target Fun. After that, let's see our next game. This is the other big one for the Atari VCS. This is Video Olympics. Before all these consoles that had interchangeable cartridges, you had the Pong clones. This one is 50 games. 50 of a bunch of different Pong variants. It's essentially this one cartridge can do more than all the standalones before it. This is like setting a new standard of what you can do on a console. Video Olympics. Let's take a look at the box. 50 game modes. We have Pong in here, Super Pong, Foos Pong, Soccer, Hockey, Quadra Pong, Handball, Volleyball, and Basketball all in here. And we're all going to be bouncing a ball around, but we have to pretend it's sports, like hockey, basketball, tennis. Is soccer on there? I think soccer. Yeah, there it is. Soccer's at the bottom. And then flip it over in the back. They have all 50 game modes, whether you want to play Pong, Hockey, Super Pong, Soccer. Look at that. It's all played with paddle controls, too, which means you can have 4 people at the same time. This is the ultimate party game in 1977. Let's take a look at the manual for Video Olympics. This has everything. Oh yeah, look at that. It also gives you how to use the English on the paddles. Like they call it the whammy. How to do speed, catch, jumping. This gives you all the tricks because you're going to have the professional skills to be able to do really good with those paddles. This is the best ball and paddle game you could play right now. Oh yeah. Oh, Jerry Larson, good shout out. Gaming Historian did a video on it, and it's so cool what he did with the Fairchild. Yeah, more ultimate than Mario Party. Yes. So the game variations, you have Pong, Robot Pong, Pong for 4 players, and then Super Pong. Each player controls 2 paddles at the same time, which is like double paddles at the same time. Super Pong 4 for 4 players. Then we have Soccer, so it has the goal on each side. Foos Pong, which has more paddles than just 2 on each side. And then Hockey, which is really similar, or looks really similar to the Fairchild Channel F version of Hockey. But it plays differently because we're doing the still paddle. We can't turn and twist the paddles like we could on the Fairchild. And then hockey variations. Then Quadra Pong. 4 players on each side, which is almost getting a close nod to Warlords, which hasn't come out yet. It's the preview of what Warlords will be. Then we have Handball, bounce against the wall, play some kind of breakout, but without bricks. That's pretty much what Handball is. And Volleyball, bouncing back and forth over the net, and Basketball. That's pretty obscure and a big stretch to do. With the game variations to play, let's pop in and play Video Olympics by Joe DeCoeur, published by Atari, one of the launch titles in 1977. This is the other game that is selling the system right now. How do we want to play? Let's go. I'm ready. You can play just Pong. Like, this is it. We're playing some Pong here on the console. And you can also play... Can we play doubles? Oh, this is 2 players, so you have to have 2 paddles plugged in, which I do not. And then you can also play 2 paddles with the extra... Oh, this is 4 player. So 4 player paddles that move around. And then you can keep going to the Quadra. There it is. This is the Super Pong. Not to be confused with Super Breakout. You can control 2 paddles at once across the screen. And then you also have 4 player... It blows my mind that it's a 4-player game you can do. Then we move on to Hockey. 4-player Hockey. And then Foos one. A game that's a little hard to play with by yourself because you're meant to have another player with you. But these game variations, man, is so much fun. Ultimate party game. Look at that. Can we play against... No, you got to have a person on those. And then we move on to the next game. Soccer. Or, I'm sorry, this is hockey. Soccer was the other one with the goals. And keep going down the game variations. Look at this. 2 at once to get the score in. It feels like I'm playing hockey. It's amazing. And then controlling multiple paddles for hockey. 4-player hockey. And there we go. The 4-player mode. Man, this is awesome. 4 different paddles moving at once to guard your goal. And you had to get those whammies. Boom. to slide the English to throw the ball around. And then here's handball, which I'd say is the most boring one of the two. There's no second player playing with me, but you see it's just moving left and right. Something's missing. We need some bricks here. That's what we need. And then we have volleyball. Plays so much like the one in the arcade. I think I'll have to control the other player to get us going, right? Oh, no, there it is. And you can also lift up the paddle. I remember that, to spike it over. And you can play 4-player volleyball and then basketball. Same thing with this one. This one allows you to bounce the ball up. And you can even play 4-player basketball too. The 4-player mechanic is what's the coolest part of this. But Video Olympics is another one of those Atari games. You need a party. Get 4 people and play this one. Still fun to play today. I think that was that Jack Palance in the commercial? It was. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. All right, it's time to leave Atari and go to the latest release on our TRS-80. This is Backgammon. That's right, Backgammon. Let's pop it and play some Backgammon. By Tandy, it is October 1st, 1977. This one is in BASIC. Going to play some Backgammon in BASIC. All right, let's go. We're not going to play too much of this. This is a game that you would have to really spend the time on the text parser to enjoy. All right, your name, please. This is by Ray Daly and Tom Throop. Way to go, Ray and Tom. What level would you like? 1 is the strongest, and there's only 3 levels of play. We're going to go 3, so we don't die. Chrono, your men look like this. Who goes first? The computer, the player, or Rin? Let's have the computer go first. Here we go. Backgammon in 1977 on the TRS-80. They get their dice roll. Their roll is 6-4. And this is the computer thinking, I guess, with the asterisk. Gammon Challenger's turn. That's one of the things you'll probably do in 1977 is wait for the artificial intelligence to make their turn. From 6 to 2. Move their pieces around. And then 8 to 2. So then you make your moves, and I'm just going to say, there you go. There's the game. It is not the best way you could play backgammon. At this point, I'd rather play real backgammon with a board. So I'm going to give it a 1.5-star rating like we did last time. And after backgammon it's time to go to the arcades. This is Destroyer by Atari. One of the big reasons I wanted to redo Episode 6 was this game. We didn't get to showcase this one. Let's take a look at Destroyer. Starting with the advertisement flyer. Destroyer is old school Atari, 1977. Look at that artwork. They've already started selling their games in the arcade, and this just blows it up. Explosive one-player action. Player controls speed of destroyers, launch depth, charges to destroy subs, realistic sonar and explosion sounds, optional extended play, 2-speed control, exclusive built-in self-test system. There's the example of the arcade cabinet. Or a reconstructed one. There we go. That's the arcade cabinet we're looking for Destroyer. Now, that view you see where the blue border around the CRT, there's multiple overlays there because this game is completely in black and white. They're using the color plexiglass overlays to give you the color. And there's our arcade PCB. For the controls, very weird. We got a little dial we're twisting to set the depth of the charge, and then over on the side is how fast your ship's going. You're actually shifting the shift. Or shifting this gear shifter to make the ship move faster or slower. So controls are a little weird too. There's the arcade marquee for Destroyer in 1977. We're not playing in black and white, though. Oh, no. Let's take a look at the manual for Destroyer, where you have the plexiglass overlays. We're going to see this in color. Oh, look at that. 1977 manuals. They still have the quality. We're up in 1982, and they still have the same quality, even back then. All right, what is Destroyer? Atari's Destroyer is a one-player computer-controlled game that simulates anti-submarine warfare. The object of the game is to sink as many submarines as possible. A player controls the speed of the destroyer, the time at which the depth charges are released, and the depth at which the depth charges explode. Point value of submarines depends on both the speed and depth in which submarines travel. As the owner of Destroyer, you have certain options available, like the number of coins to play the game, and whether to extend play or not. We want play to extend a long time. Your new Destroyer game is manufactured by Atari with the intent of being ready to play right out of the shipping carton. How to install your card cabinet? No, we don't want to know how to install or self-test. If you're an operator, I'm sure you're very interested. We're interested in what they say about the game itself. There we go. During gameplay, where is it? There they are. The Destroyer operates one of 4 modes: attract mode, ready to play mode, or game over. Attract mode, we're familiar with that one. Ready to play mode is whenever it's ready to push start, and then play mode. When you push the start button, all controls and sounds are active. The player sets the depth at which charges explode by rotating the depth release control. Depth is indicated on the screen by a dashed horizontal line called the cursor. Depth charges are released by pushing the depth release control. Once the depth charges are released, the depth cannot be reset. In other words, the charges always explode at whatever depth the cursor was set when the charges are released. A direct hit is not always necessary, since the shockwave of a near miss will crush the submarine's hull. So this is a dropping depth charges from a ship down to destroy submarines, but you have to determine when they're going to blow up. And that's pretty much it for the gameplay, and then they have the maintenance and adjustments. Man, that manual, though, is still high quality. It impresses me. So for other versions, we have other ones by Sedelsa. We're going to play the first one in North America. This is Destroyer by Mike Albach, published by Atari. It's October 1977. There we go. We got everything, all the artwork around the outside. Down there at the bottom, you can see us shifting. Where's our shift? There we go. Our shifter to go faster or slower for the submarine that's controlled at the top. And then whenever you rotate the dial, that's going to change where everything's going to explode. Yes, we don't have the radar detection, or I guess you're seeing the subs, and that's the radar detection. So what I'm going to do is zoom in from here. Just pretend you still saw this one. And then go in there to a close-up view. Let's pop a coin in and play. We have no sound, I guess. All right, then push start. Here we go. So here's me twisting the dial. I'm adjusting where I want to drop the depth charges. When I push the button to drop, that's where it's going to explode. I missed those because I didn't time it correctly. So you have to both simultaneously. Can we get the fast-moving one? Oh, yeah, we got him. Cool. Those are the harder ones to get. All right, so we got to get across this side. Let's drop one there. They pop out of the back, and you have to tell them where they're going to explode. Nice. Let's get him. Get him. Get him. Missed it. This is an arcade game that's hard to do justice unless you play it for yourself. I'm very glad we were able to get the overlays to see what it would be like to play it in 1977. For a game that's completely in black and white, it's done really well, or it's done better whenever you have the plexiglass. How many can I drop? Can I just keep going? Oh yeah, you can go all the way across. Okay, cool. Let's just fire this sucker non-stop then. Almost. All right, time it right. Go, go, go. Oh, I still got him. Nice. That extra shockwave works. Cool concept and plays really well. That is fun. That is a lot of fun. Yeah, I say above average. It's a little difficult to play, but as far as 1977 games go, yeah, I'm going to say for the arcade, it's really good. I'm going to bump it up. I want to say 4 stars. We had 3.5 before, but I want to go 4 stars of all the arcade games you could play thus far. What really sells it is all the extras, not just how the game's programmed, but the overlays, the artwork, the cabinet. It all comes together for a really nice package. All right, so that concludes the end of episode 6. The Lost episode 6 has become reborn. Thank you again, everyone that is here for the live show, everyone that's tuned in for Chronologically Gaming since 1971 to where we're going to be going now. I want to thank everyone online that has a love for a computer, a love for a console, that's posted and shown everything online for the game artwork. Everything that we showcase here on the channel wouldn't be possible without people like you that I can put on this. So I really appreciate that. Thanks again for all the good times and for more coming up. Next episode, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. That's it for today, and like I always say, only you can keep retro alive. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Maine. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.